So Toni Storm has a new character, right? And people are falling in love with this. Humble Wrestling at Wrestling Humble. Toni Storm is nailing this character. Everything from the hairstyle to the way of speaking to the outfits to the accent. The shoe throwing is just perfect. More of this. And a lot of people on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, are sharing the same sentiment about Toni Storm's new look, new character. Jimmy, what do you expect from this? What do you expect from Toni Storm's latest change? Like, where does this go?
It's royalty, dude. This goes straight to Great Britain. This goes to England. They roll out that carpet. I mean, Hollywood, you know about this, man. She called you up. She talked to you about what's going on. She's been besmirched. I mean, this is amazing. I love what she's doing on AEW, man. She's owning it. And you talk about acting, because wrestling, people forget this. Wrestling is acting, period. I don't care what anybody says. All right. Storytelling's acting. She deserves a fucking Oscar. Excuse my language. She deserves an Oscar.
Yeah, man. Like, I for a long time have said, and I'll stick with this, that I believe Alexa Bliss was the best actor in all of wrestling. With her range and what she has done, her facial expressions, it was all there. I love Alexa Bliss's character. Can't wait for her to come back. But of course, family duties first. Yep. She's gonna be a mom. Awesome. Congrats to her and her family. But Toni Storm, agreed. Toni Storm, she's owning the character. Like that's what we have to do, is to be a great actor, to perform in those Oscar-worthy performances. It's about owning it, right? Completely, yeah.
Come on, man.
I know, completely engulfing yourself in the character. She's going full-blown method in this, my man. And this is such a unique character in wrestling that we've not seen. The old school 1950s style Hollywood glam. Talking about the style of Marilyn Monroe mixed with a little bit of an attitude of Judy Garland. And it's with a little bit of Lucille Ball in there too. Like she's reenacting these Hollywood starlets of the old and bringing that to today. It works. It fits. It's so great to see. It's refreshing.
Yes.
Because again, have you seen anyone do this in wrestling before? Like this?
It's different. Like you said, Mark, keyword refreshing. We need stuff like this, man.
Yeah, it's unique. And I don't necessarily know who came up with it. If it was her idea herself or from AEW Creative or a mixture of both, but kudos to them. For, you know what? Listen, hey, you're swinging for the fences here. You're thinking outside the box. I say this about Impact all the time. I give them credit for thinking outside the box and not afraid to try something new. If it fails, it fails, but they're willing to stand by it. And this is something along the lines of that, taking risks. I mean, hell, for God's sake, she was in a hot faction with Saraya. She was the AEW Women's Champion. She doesn't have to do this. She was constantly trending before this transformation here. She could have kept the same old, and it would have been fine. But here we are. Toni Storm transforming herself, evolving. But how far can this character go? Can this version of Toni Storm still win championships? Like, I'm curious to see how she wrestles in this as this version of herself.
I mean, very proper. I mean, I'm thinking like somewhere along the lines of like Lord Steven Regal.
Ooh.
Like this is what I'm feeling. This is the vibe I'm getting with her. Old school wrestling. Like mat wrestling, catch can, they call it, right? We're talking like just like, oh man, just very actual wrestling, dude. That's what I see. I see some funny storylines that they can actually do with this character, and then just make it over the top entertaining, but still maybe go back to the actual roots of pro wrestling. If you look at AEW, and this is maybe thinking outside the box here saying this, but one thing they've had since the beginning is all these people were complaining about the high flying aerial maneuvers. They're doing too much,
Or the spot with the Canadian destroyers this past week.
Oh my gosh, one after the next. Dude, what about going back to actually the roots of wrestling where they didn't do a lot, where DDT was a huge move? You know what I'm saying? and telling a story in the ring instead of just jumping all around and trying to perform these incredible acts of athleticism. That's what I'm thinking, man. And it could be really beneficial for the product, for the brand.
Somewhere right now, Darius Carter's popping for everything you just said.
Yeah. My man, Darius. Yep.
Shout out to him, the BCW World Heavyweight Champion, 2 times. But you touched on something.
Yeah, let me not get into
you touched on something here. You said about comedic. And this is where I was thinking too. This is why I asked the question, because when you think of comedic wrestlers, right, or comedic gimmicks, they don't go anywhere near a championship typically. That's what I'm wondering. What does this mean for her status on the roster as far as getting back the AEW Women's Championship?
Well, maybe that's not in the cards for her right now. So they want to let her have some fun in the meantime, just to make her, relevant still. Later on, maybe she's going to be back in that, in the run for the gold. But, not everybody's going to be main eventing.
Mm-hmm.
You have to still do something. You have to have your spot on the card, and even though she is a main eventer, it's not maybe the right time for her to be contending for that belt. So, this is going to keep it interesting, going to keep it relevant, going to have people talking and make it entertaining. She's going to sell a lot of merch.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, it's already entertaining. It's great to see. I was just thinking long term, like, how is this going to be viewed as? How does she get herself back into that run? Because, it's so tough with comedy gimmicks in wrestling. Like, you could be funny, entertaining, but you don't want to go too much where like you're considered a joke. You know what I mean? If you're considered a joke, then they're not going to take you seriously as champion.